Welcome back to the channel. My name is Eddie, and today on the channel we're going to be welding the differential in my manual swapped Chrysler 300. Now, this Chrysler 300 differential is the 2010 through 2014 LSD. So that comes in a 391 gear ratio and a 306 gear ratio. So what today we're going to be doing is I'm going to teach you how to take the differential apart and weld it, because on the LSD differentials the clutches go out and start one tire frying. So today I'm going to teach you how to weld a differential so where it's always posi for good traction. This is a 391 gear ratio LSD. It says the gear ratio numbers right here. On this one it says 391. So this is what it looks like. So like I was saying, this is a 2010 through 2014 Challenger Charger SRT 8 differential. So the first thing you're going to want to do before you start taking apart this differential is you're going to want to drain the fluid out of it. Now on the bottom side they have this Allen, I think it's a 12 millimeter Allen that goes into there. You take that screw out and drain the fluid out. Now I already drained the fluid out, so the next step we're going to do is remove all these bolts right here, because if you look at the case splits. This is a solid piece, and then this piece right here comes off. So we're gonna split the case to be able to get to the differential carrier in the inside. The bolts around the side of this diff cover right here are a 10 millimeter socket and a 13 millimeter socket. So you're gonna wanna remove these bolts, and then you're gonna wanna pop this cover off. It's gonna be stuck because they got gasket sealer and dowel pins holding it in the right position. So all the bolts were 10 millimeters besides this one 13 right here. And as you can see, there's a collar on the other side of the bolt. So that collar doesn't let this bolt head come off the cover. So when you back that out, it actually pushes the cover open for you, which is rather nicely, because you don't have to beat on it or stick a screwdriver and damage cracking, you know, because it's aluminum housing. So now that we got it cracked open, I'm gonna flip it up on its side like this and pull the cover upward. Alright, so we got the diff cover pulled off and we got the whole carrier pulled out. So if you look at this carrier, you can see the spider gears in the center, and from this point all the way to here inside this little bit area is going to be some clutches and some springs. Also on that side they have clutches and springs. On the other side of this right there, you can see a little chip actually. This diff is the original diff that I had in my Chrysler 300 when I first put it together. And I came across a guy that watched my videos on YouTube. This is why I love y'all so much, and I'm so thankful for y'all support and when y'all watch my videos, because this guy randomly reached out to me and we was just randomly talking. I was telling him how, yeah, I plan on doing a next upgrade, would be doing something with the differential. He's like, hey man, I got one of those things sitting in my backyard. I'll give it to you for free. And I was like, really didn't believe him. I thought it was probably like an open diff or something like that. because I didn't explain thorough what differential I had. So I was like, yeah, go ahead, send me a picture and I'll see what it is. He sent me a picture of it, which was a same exact differential, a 390 LSD, which is in my car now. And I put that one in my car, and I pulled this one out because this one was really worn out. It would one tire fryer a lot. So the one in my car is a lot better condition than this one. So what I'm gonna do with this one is, inside here where these spider gears are, we're gonna weld those spider gears together in this hole and on that hole. So then this differential is going to be a straight drifting differential only. So whenever I go to the drift track or slideshows or anything where I need to be, no matter what, both tires spinning, this will be the diff. And then the differential that's in the car right now, I'm gonna pull it out and I'm gonna do a wave track. So wave track is like a true track. It's got a bunch of Healy coil gears in there, and the more torque you give it, the more posi both would be. So that differential would be great for drag racing and street driving. This differential is going to be only for drifting, which will probably stay in it most of its whole life, to be honest with y'all. Before I start welding in those spider gears, I'm gonna take this ring gear off. The reason why I'm gonna take the ring gear off is because I don't want to get splatter weld in between these gears, and when I go to put it together, some get caught in between that pinion and this ring and start distorting the metal where it starts, you know, making whining noises and stuff, and these won't mesh together correctly. So I'm gonna take this ring off. To take the ring off, you see all these bolts on the back side right here? They're 17mm bolts. I'm gonna use a 1/2 inch impact, and it's left hand to reverse them out. Sometimes some of them go right turn to reverse out, but on this differential it's left hand. Once you get all the bolts out, you just take a hammer and you hit it on the edge right here and walk it around, and it'll drop downward. So I'll just like lightly tap it and just spin it around. It'll slowly work its way downward. Just like that. Pull it off. Get the gear out the way. And then also, we get a lot more room in here to be able to get the welder in. So when you get your handle on the welder in great positions and angles, you can get way better welding done. So the next step is we're gonna wanna get a torch, and we're gonna wanna take the torch and heat this thing up really, really hot. Get some brake cleaner. Brake clean all this brake fluid off, because that will catch on fire. So you're gonna want to brake clean it and then torch the shit out of it, because when you put these welds in, you want this thing smoking hot before you even start welding, so it can penetrate, because the metal in this housing is a really hard forged metal, and to be able to penetrate that forged metal is you got to have the metal already hot. Got everything set up right now. I'm gonna take the engine degreaser and soak everything with the engine degreaser, let it set for a couple minutes, and then I'm gonna come back with 2 cans of brake cleaner, clean everything off, and then I'm gonna start torching on this. You can also throw it in the oven or whatnot, but I'm just gonna take the propane torch and just heat it all up, and then I'm gonna blast some welds on there, let it cool down, and then we'll be throwing everything back together. Alright, so I got the differential and the housings cleaned up, and I'm sitting here studying on it, trying to figure out how I want to do my welds. And really there's only 3 points where I can weld this gear, and this gear to the housing to stop it from spinning. And I'm sitting here thinking about it. That's a big car, a big heavy car, and that's not going to be enough surface welds to hold for a very long time and be reliable. So I got this chunk of metal right here, and I made me a little diagram right there, and I'm about to cut it out with the grinder. But basically what I'm doing is I'm gonna cut a chunk out this metal perfectly to fit in between all these gears in this hole right here. And not only am I gonna weld the gears to the housing, but I'm gonna weld that plate to all the gears, and it's gonna be perfectly notched in all these notches, so that'll also be a good stopping force from those spider gears spinning and separating the axles from being posy, because it's a heavy car, like I said, and I've welded plenty of diffs before, and I know already that that's not going to be enough surface area to hold for a very long time. So there's the little piece of metal I just cut out, and it fits nice in between all the little notches. I think that's gonna work out a lot better with that little plate in there. This is a very, very thick plate. Really hard to cut with the grinding blade. Oh yeah, she's gonna work great. So now I'm gonna burn all that in with the welder, and that should be good for this side. And then I'm gonna spin it around, and I'm gonna duplicate the same thing on this side and make me a nice little, you know, chunk of metal and weld it in on both sides. I think that'll be more reliable for my big boat. All right, so I got my 2 little pieces of metal cut out for each side of the diff to sit in between those spider gears. Now this is my propane tank right here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna heat all this up super hot, and I'm gonna make 1 weld at a time. The spot that I heat up really hot, it's the 1 weld I'm gonna make at a time. I'll weld, I'll heat it up, weld that spot, and then I'm gonna heat this spot up, weld this spot, then I'm gonna heat this spot up, and I'm gonna weld that spot. You'll want to keep it as hot as possible, like I was saying, so the welder will penetrate this forged steel. And these gears right here, these spider gears, are forged steel also. So to be able to fuse those together, we're gonna have to get it smoking hot, because we don't want it to fail later on. All right, before I start heating this up and start welding, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this aluminum foil and I'm gonna shove it into my axle hole, because if you look inside there, there's axle splines where the axle will slot into. When you're welding this right here, sometimes splatter weld will drop down in there and weld itself to the spline. So when you go to slide your axle in after you get it put in the car and everything, your axle won't slide in. You're gonna have to beat it in, because there's gonna be little bitty bead welds stuck in between those grooves where the axle would notch into. So what I'm gonna do is, and this is the trick, so I'm gonna take the aluminum foil and I'm gonna ball it up and shove it in there, and where it blocks anything that drop down from this hole into the axle on both sides. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick some aluminum foil in there and on this side, and what that does is, like I was saying, it blocks the splatter weld from going in there, because if the splatter weld goes in there, you're not gonna be able to slide your axle in all the way. Ask me how I know, because I've done it before to myself, and I had to take the whole diff apart and take a hammer and a chisel and beat all the little splatter welds out of the splines to be able to slide the axle in. And so it's a whole process that makes it extra longer. Well, instead of worrying about that, just get you some aluminum foil, shove it in there, make sure it blocks the hole really good.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness.
Alright, so I got it welded up. It's all the way welded. Like, I've welded everything in there, both sides. So I guess now we're gonna let it cool off a little bit, bolt the ring gear back on, and put the cases back together. Alright, so at this point, installing these bolts to the ring gear through this housing, you're going to want to put Loctite on these. I don't have Loctite at the moment, and I don't feel like going to the store, so I'm just going to ugga-dugga these in with the 1/2" impact. Should be good enough. But you know, there's people out there be like, oh, you could have put Loctite. You're right, I could have, but I don't want to. Man, this shit's hot. I need to put the gloves on. So when you're sliding this up, you're gonna want to look through the holes and kind of try and guide them. Line them up as best as possible. You're gonna get one on each side. Hot, hot, hot. You're gonna want to walk it on evenly. So what I usually do is I'll get one on each side and then one on the opposite ends. Because you want to walk it on, like I was saying, evenly. So you don't want to hammer one side down hard. You want to work your way, pull it on together. Alright, now we got all the bolts in, holding the ring gear on pretty good. Alright, so the next step of putting this all back together is make sure all this is clean. Make sure your gasket surface right here is all clean, no gasket sealer left on there. You want the seal nice and neat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this carrier and I'm gonna set it down in there. Now you want these ring grooves to line up with this pinion down there. So the face of this ring is gonna go downward. So I'm gonna grab it like this and shimmy that in there. There you go, make sure you get it in there all the way down, spin it around a couple times, make sure everything's good. Got that in there now. Next step would be to put the cover on and bolt it down, but before we put the cover on, we're going to want to put gasket sealer all the way around right here. So I like to apply the gasket sealer and then I use my finger to rub it around all these bolt holes just to make sure it gets a good seal. Spread it out nice and neat. I mean, whenever it squeezes together anyway, it's gonna squeeze out the cracks regardless. But I'd rather have too much than not enough, because I would rather it not leak and have to take it back out and fix a leak whenever it could have been just good the first time. So I just make sure it's a little healthy on the gasket maker side. Now as you set it down, there's going to be a dowel pin here, and then they got this bolt right here. So you want to set that in. Now, you don't want to push it on because it'll push on crooked because this bolt's sticking out right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to work it on evenly. I'm going to pick this side upwards to make it even so this bolt don't go in crooked. So I'm going to slowly turn this bolt where it goes in, and then I'm going to like work it down together. I'm not going to tighten it all the way because I want to get all the other bolts in loosely.
I'm going to let the ball dry.
Alright, so the next couple of bolts that I'm going to tighten down, it's going to be this one, these two over here by the dowel pin, because you want to push it on that dowel pin real nice and good, because if it goes crooked, you might crack the case.
You're filming yourself?
Yes. Battery's dead on that one.
I like that truck mechanic.
Now we got the cover bolted on. I removed the old seals that go on the axles. I ordered some from O'Reilly's. They'll be here in the morning, so I'll slap the old seals on in the morning, and this diff is finished up. Both the cases together, you're gonna wanna spin your differential just to make sure it still spins, because if you do put it together crooked or whatnot, you might lock up the whole assembly and it don't spin at all. So you're gonna wanna check, make sure everything feels great and good, which it does feel great and good. So looks like we got a welded differential about to go into the manual. 300. Alright, so it's been raining for the past couple of days, and you know, I'm usually working in my backyard. Well, it's wet in the backyard now, so I'm at my friend's shop and we're gonna swap the diff out here today. Alright, so I just got the exhaust removed. I got the new axle seals put into the differential. Now, my axles is leaking a bunch of grease here and through this crack right there on both sides. Don't have no new axles, so I'm not gonna worry about it right now. I'm just gonna swap the diff out and keep on trucking. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this drive shaft off the front of this diff, and then I'll start pulling all the mounting bolts. They got one here and they got two on the back, one in that hole up there and one right here that you can see. And if you look on this side, you can see I drilled holes through my trunk so I can just stick an extension in a socket straight to it and pull them out, because I don't feel like removing the frame downwards, and it's a drift car, so I'm gonna always be swapping this out and swapping axles and stuff. So I just go ahead and made me some holes. So let's go ahead and get this differential out and install the new one. All right, so we got the good 391 LSD with the clutches and everything out. It's a good unit. Now we have the old burnt up unit that we welded that we're gonna put in it. Still a 391 gear ratio. I really like this gear ratio, but I'm about to slap the new one up in there now and button everything back together. fucking busting my finger. See it?
Yeah.
I hit it on this, smashed it on the metal. Yeah! The exhaust on, got the diff in, axles in, drive shaft in. This is what the underneath my car looks like. The headers with the V-bands. Shit ass pieced together exhaust. All right, so we got the diff installed. Let's go for a test drive. Tell the rear end's welded because whenever I make sharp turns, the back tire skips. First gear slide I ever did. I didn't even give it much gas, like half throttle, and it was sliding pretty good. Before, one tire would have lifted up with that much gas. before I'd have to give it like full throttle for both tires to brake loose. Alright, so the welded differential worked out very great. So on the next video, I'm going to be installing a hydro handbrake for drifting, and I'm going to teach you how to do it on any Dodge Charger or Challenger because all the brake lines are exactly the same setup. Alright guys, thank y'all for watching my video. Subscribe if you haven't, like and share.